And we are recording with Mr. Harry Fisher on Wednesday, January 31st, 2024 at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. As everyone knows, been getting slowly back into it. So I did shows yesterday and completely forgot to plug the sponsors for the show. And honestly, man, if they sponsor my show, to me, that's cool enough. Like, y'all should just buy it. I mean, they've gone through and looked at the videos I've done, the things that have got me banned from YouTube, iTunes, Reddit, now Twitter twice. I'm IP banned from Reddit. I can't get on iTunes preemptively. If they look at all this and they're still like, yeah, let's talk about the death jabs, let's talk about election fraud, then I'm like, that's cool enough, man. So if y'all want to support the show and support cool companies, go into the description. Fox and Sons Coffee, promo code Tommy, 10% off. You need caffeine. I don't need to sell caffeine. It's great. It's caffeine. It's what it is. If you think it's the end of the world, which probably is, Heaven's Harvest, Prepper Food in the description, promo code Tommy. 10% off, 25-year shelf life. You will end up in a nuclear bunker. And then my buddy got another company, Prismatic Energy. It's like battery systems for your home. 10% off if you use the link in the description. And I always make a note of this. Some of those units go for like $30,000. 10% off ain't nothing, buddy. That's some cool cash there. And then lastly, of course, the wellness company. Dr. McCullough works there. They got all the doctors that were fighting, really spearheading the shit we're talking about today. You use promo code Tommy, 10% off. Oh, and Quick RX. That's also in the description. If you want your ivermectin, you want your hydroxychloroquine, use promo code Tommy. We got promo codes on promo codes, so it may be the end of the world, but support some cool companies while money still means anything. And well, before roving bands of mercenaries take over large swaths of the United States and we descend into a global civil war between the haves and the have-nots. But with that cheery introduction, guys, please go in the description. Please go follow his Twitter. He's been on here before. He's on Twitter constantly shitting on the face of everyone that tries to slander him and slander everything we talk about. And what's the ancient quote? Three things cannot be hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And so, they're going to be on the wrong side. But with that rant ending, Harry, please introduce yourself, man.
How's it going? I'm glad to be on again. Thanks for having me again, brother.
Heck yeah.
My name's Harry Fisher. Been trying to speak out for years now. It's wild that we're talking about years now. Like at the first of this, I mean, I thought, man, people are going to catch on pretty fast, but it's years into it, and thankfully, traction is occurring. Though, I mean, I've noticed just a huge uptick in people seeing what's occurring and seeking the truth, and I'm thankful for that. But you can find me over on X because they allow me to talk without censoring me. Just Harry Fisher over there. I still have some TikTok. I'm over on TikTok a little bit, but if I post 4 or 5 videos, four of them, 4 out of the 5 will be taken down. So it's sort of the only reason I really go over there now is just because I made a lot of friends and I like to talk to them and see them on occasion. But other than that, I don't post a lot there. But I'm a paramedic. I've been trying to just tell the world what's going on. It's weird. Used to you thought that if you put out a video that the world would just see. Back in the day, whenever computers and everything started, you thought you could just put the truth out there, and then suddenly everyone would have the information. I never really thought that they could censor this broad. It's pretty amazing their tactics.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's it's what Brigadier General Robert Spalding, I've had him on here before. He used to fly B-2 Spirits, the stealth nuclear bomber. But in his book, with a sorry, yeah, excuse me, in his book Stealth War, about the war with China that's been going on for years, if not decades, he begins it with saying, like, don't just because you despise your enemy, which you should, don't don't fail to give them the credit where the credit's due. And in his first page, he goes, the Chinese are waging a beautiful war. So whenever I look at like the censorship, what's going on is, it's not North Korean, it's not Chinese, it's not Russian, or it's just so, it's overt. It's that you just can't do anything. And if you do, fucking SWAT team comes and kicks down your door at 2 in the morning. How they're doing it in the United States, still for the most part, not us, and I think the number is decreasing, but a large number of people still say, that's a private company though. That's not the US government. It's, and the way they do it with shadow banning, the way, you don't even know that you're not there. It's a beautiful war and you have to respect it. If you don't respect it, you're going to get trampled by it. But it's, it's one of the things where you just got to draw more and more light to it. Um, I'm playing a game right now. Here, I'll make an analogy. Playing a game right now with my buddies called Nuclear Option. It's like it's just a combat game, and you're taking over a huge map with a bunch of bases. And one thing I'll do is I'll get in the fastest jet there is, and I'll strip it of all armaments, everything, so it's super light. And then I'll go like Mach 1.5, like 30 feet off the ground, and just tear through all the canyons and everything with no aim to get a strategic hit. No, I have no defense. I have nothing. I'm just an idiot. I'm a jackass, like riding a unicycle with a megaphone on fire. But what I'm doing is the entire time I'm getting painted by every radar, and everything is now showing me where they all are on the map. Get through there, you show everything where it is, and then you can just take your time over an hour and just drop cruise missiles here, there. You know where everything is. To me, that's kind of what, in a sense, continuing to talk out like you do is doing for the average person. You have the conspiracy theorists going, there's radars over there, and there's Abram tank columns over there, and everyone's going, oh, shut up. You get out there and you go, hey man, I'm an EMT. I'm not like I'm not a jackass like Tommy sitting in a room. I'm actually out here seeing this shit, and here it is. And then all of a sudden the ghosts that were just talked about, the shadow banning, the slicing, the removal, the suppression, everyone starts to see it. So that was kind of a long-winded way to say, like, you are showing by example, and I understand that it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me as well. But you're flying through. It's like the movies. You spray the thing, and all the laser lines appear, and you see it. That's kind of what you're doing. But you do it with a much better attitude. I get pretty black pilled and angry about it, and you seem to be pretty rooted in at the very least or very most in God, and really just a pursuit to keep going forward. Can you kind of talk about that? Because we talked about a year ago. How has that changed your outlook on it entirely? And I realize I'm talking way
Oh,
too much. I'll shut up
oh
now.
no, you're good. You're good. If it wasn't for God, I would be in so much trouble. I mean, I fail all the time. Like I've been watching what many doctors now have told me genocide is occurring. I've been watching this occur, trying to help. Actually had blood on my hands from the CPR in Pfizer lines. So I've been watching and working and trying, and it is weighed. I mean, it carries a weight.
Hmm.
Anytime you lose a patient, it carries a weight. Um, but when you know that these patients are being killed per doctors and even senators that I've sat with, thinking that there's actually genocide occurring, it's this added weight. So without God, I would be constantly black pilling. I would be very,
Hmm.
because I have my moments of anger. Like
Sure.
I've said things like I just want to shoot them. I just want, and I don't even know who them is. Just whoever's committing genocide, I want them off the face of the earth.
And
That
legally
being
for
said,
the sake of Tommy's podcast, we're talking in theory.
and yes, I mean, who
I
do
know.
who do we even know who's causing it? Is it China? Is it because I've had some people say that are in higher positions say that hey, China got with some of our people, our governments, and they colluded to kill Americans.
Hmm.
Well, that's a possibility, but I mean, we don't know. So all I can do is try to help, try to save as many people as possible, and pray a lot because I don't have a known enemy. I know that the pharma companies are seemingly killing people, but most of the people in those companies that you can talk to, they don't believe they are. So they're not really the enemy. They're just dumb or ignorant to what's going on. They're force fed a bunch of information. They believe they're doing right, and they're distributing poison to people. That being said, that doesn't make them all that are working there evil people. It just means that they're bought into a system that's very, very corrupt. Uh, we have to change that corrupt system, or I'm going to keep me and the others out there are going to keep having to run these laser lines that you're talking about. We're going to have to keep running out there keep seeing the death, the young and old. So many more young people that used to not die like this. Like, I mean, we always had young people dying, but we didn't have it on such scale that you worry about going to work because you know you're probably going to have that young death. I mean, in my field, if you ever talk to a paramedic, because I'm a paramedic, if you ever talk to a
Mm-hmm.
paramedic that says running young codes is easy, there's something wrong with that person. I've very rarely ever seen anybody in my field okay with running young death. We don't like it. It's a very difficult and stressful situation. I mean, running out with a baby in your arms and trying to do compressions on them and then just trying to get to the hospital as quick as possible because it's just not something you used to see all the time.
Mm.
Now, now we're seeing young death at just such a large scale. And when I say young, I'm talking about people under the age of, you know, 25, but I mean, all the way down to babies. But I mean, young death just didn't occur like this. And when you start putting two and two together and realize, holy crap, I'm censored for just saying that I did CPR to Pfizer line. I'm censored for saying I ran a under 15-year-old stroke playing kickball. I'm censored for saying this whenever I'm actually asking the questions like, did you take any of these shots? Because they're known to cause strokes. They're known to cause heart attacks. And then whenever they censor us for just pointing it out, that means there's a huge actual conspiracy at play. Like
Mm-hmm.
that takes all the doubt away because
Mm.
I went through the early stages of could it be me? Could I be wrong?
Sure.
Could
I'm
I
s-
be wrong? Yeah. I went through the question, am I crazy?
yeah, yeah.
I might just be the crazy one.
Oh, me too.
And
Am I the guy that like old high school friends are like, yeah, Tommy just kind of lost it in his 20s. Yeah, no, no, you got to go through those stages.
yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to do all that reflection, and then whenever you go through those stages, and the end result is, wow, this is actually happening. I'm actually being. You put all of it together, and you realize there is a big bad out there that is pushing for the death of your brothers and sisters, which I consider everyone in this nation my brother and sister. My military brothers and sisters, my medical field, like all of y'all are brothers and sisters to me, and we're supposed to try to help each other. Like that's what we should be doing. We should be trying to help our neighbor, and all of y'all are my neighbors. Whenever someone's attacking my neighbor, I don't want to sit there and just watch and be like, well, better them than me. And that's what it seems like. What 80% of our populace is doing. They're going, well, our neighbors are dying. Thankfully, it's not me, so let's just put it out of my mind. So we become conspiracy theorists whenever we just point out the truth. Our neighbors are being attacked, we're being attacked, and we've got to figure out a way to stop it. And they've blanketed that term conspiracy theory, as you know, just to anyone speaking out. It was a smart move. Just like I mean, our enemy is tactical,
They're brilliant.
and they're brilliant, truly
Yeah.
brilliant. I
But in terms of the am I crazy, that's not a phase. That's something that you must constantly go through, right? Um, but you also it really is it's like a PhD level course in just thinking for yourself, right? I mean, how do I word this? I interviewed a guy a couple years ago, Bradley Birkenfield, right? He's a much cooler version of Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street. Jordan Belfort, yeah, fun movie, sure. He fucked over a lot of little people, and you know it's a great movie, yachts and pussy and cocaine, but he's a bad guy. This guy I had on was working. He has got a great book called I think he's a Lucifer's Banker. I think that's the name of it. He was in charge of a lot of like the gold going in and out of like the Swiss banks and like the shell games and the Byzantine kind of empire, not empire, but path of shell companies that own shell companies that own shell companies. I mean, some accounts it was like 30 different shell companies just to get down to the bottom of who owned what, right? And it was stored offshore. A lot of people launder money through real estate, penthouses in New York and London, and some people just wanted the gold and they were complicit in there. Point is he saw something kind of fucky and went to start to went to start to report it to the authorities in the United States. And, they kicked it up the food chain. And they finally got to like the FBI and I mean, I don't know who else would be involved, whatever financial, maybe like the what SEC Securities and Exchange, I think. Um, and they took it and it never went anywhere. And he kept copies of everything. And he's just thinking like, this is so crazy. Like, how is this not going farther up the food chain? Well, it turns out the guys at the highest level in the FBI and stuff, and like the financial crimes division, they were on the payroll of like senators who would pass bills to make this legal for people to store money overseas, and the people that the senators were doing favors for would kick back and get them donations for their campaign. So when he was wondering, he has what you're talking about, the feeling that there's a big bad. He's like, I wasn't sure if I was crazy. Then I started to realize it was like you called the police station and like the police station is the one who's robbing your house or something. And he ended up going to jail in New Hampshire for a bit. And actually a really cool story, like 10 years later, some whistleblower or somebody came in and found out that, he was correct. Somebody got fucked. I don't remember. It might have been post '08. Some disgruntled like person with money and power was like gonna try to do right by God or something. I don't recall. Anyway, he got the largest for the IRS at the time. It was if you were a whistleblower, you got 10% of recovered funds. So one day he's in jail, the next day he gets a check for $104 million.
Wow.
So that's a story of a guy. You read his thing and it starts Jordan Belfort-esque. Pussy, it's sports cars, it's just, you know, $10,000 suits. But as he starts to go down the path of doing the right thing, he even talks about it. He's like, I'm not an angel. It wasn't just to do the right thing. I also just kind of fucking hated these people. And he's like, he just kept at it. But when he was in prison, he had no idea that he was ever going to get out. He was like, I've made the most of it. I became like, I was like, you know what? I'm in prison for the rest of my life. I'm going to become friends with these guys. I'm going to fucking start to enjoy the food. I'm going to, work out. I'm going to blah, I'm going to read. I'm going to better myself. And then, one random morning he had a meeting and he walked out of jail worth a tenth of a billion. Now, does that mean that you and I are going to get the tenth of a billion? I would like to think so. I'm not counting on it though. But I think in theory, if you stick to it and do the right thing,
Um,
there will be a day where one day you wake up and the goodwill is returned. And maybe not to you and me. That's the other thing. I've had on Dr. Keith Rose before, former CIA ground branch merc, just badass guy. And I remember him telling me once, he was like, I'm proud of your show and I'm proud of you speaking truth to power. But remember, sacrifice isn't always immediately transactional. You might get to see I think that we had that conversation like right after I did the episode with the banker. But he goes, you might not see it in your life. You could very well be killed, but
oh
it
yeah.
will. He's like, but it will come back. So
Yeah, I'm more looking forward to just the day, the $104 million paycheck to me would be waking up and mainstream news, um, being most of them being arrested.
mhm,
Most of the ones that own those companies are arrested. The Faucis of the world are arrested, and there's a precedent set that you are not allowed to do the horrible things that they've done to society, and just being able to sleep easier. Like, I don't need the $104 million. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still trying to figure out how to survive, feed my kiddos, but I can always go roof a house. I can always go.
yeah,
Thankfully, God's given me the ability to go figure out a way to make some money. And they're actively trying to take away, anybody who's speaking out, our licensures, everything else. They've got their own horrible things working against us. But the day that all of those stop, and half of those people at least wake up to go, wow, we were doing something wrong. We were pushing poison onto unsuspecting people. We were fighting on the wrong side. And in order to do that, we really need we really need an example to be made. I keep saying a legal example to be made, because if we could do it legally, and if we didn't, like, because you let off with civil war and da da da, and that's always like, if you follow the train of everything that could occur, when you start killing people, and not us, but when they start killing us, it ends in either people get arrested, or what does history tell us? A war breaks out. Like, I mean, that's where
Genocide.
it ends.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping and praying. I'm hoping and praying that we don't end there. I would much rather have all the bad people arrested, shown for what they've done, and our system to change for the better. And that's what I'm praying for, like the better angels of society to win this battle. Because it's a spiritual war that we're going through right now. I mean, we don't have physical, we're not aiming at physical targets when we're talking here. I'm aiming at the spiritual battle that's occurring while physical people are dying from the poison that they truly believe they need to take because they're fighting this fear. And most people are taking it because they're afraid. And fear is a huge weapon to use against the populace. And they
Here,
utilize that weapon very, very strategic. And it's sad to watch. It truly is, brother.
there's
I'm praying.
there's some there's some baseline things in the human brain. There's fear, there's food, and there's fucking, right? So you utilize any of those, you're good. I don't know if I scratched my nose, and I think my left side of my nose is bleeding. I think I had a scab on there. Fun fact, out of whatever. I don't give a shit. Just in
let
case you
let it
see me
let it
dabbling.
bleed, bro. Let
Yeah.
it bleed.
It's not even a nosebleed. It's well, it is a nosebleed, but it's a cut on my nose. Not important, but yeah, I look at that and I go, yeah, ideally one day you see them all marched out there and arrested. I think before even that, for me, I would just like for it to come out so that number one, people stop getting the shots, stop the bleeding, stop the just put an end to it before anything else. Put an end to it, right? I mean, was it Odorf? I think Ordorf was the first concentration camp liberated. Um, years later was the Nuremberg trial. But number one is just to stop the execution, stop the chambers. That's priority one, right? Triage. It's stop the bleeding, right? If you've ever been to the emergency room, that you'll see like a sign. It's like if you're not being seen, consider yourself lucky because you're not seen as a priority, right? You know that. Why am I telling you that? But number one, it would be to stop this stuff. Number two is you do need punishment. And I always have to be careful because, revenge and punishment don't cure everything. They do a lot of the times, and history is kind of written by that. But you also have to learn, like, there has to be something more to it. There has to be a lesson learned. And I think this might just be a cyclical thing. It
God is
might.
about punishment. I mean, God
Oh, sure.
punished.
Oh,
I
sure.
mean, there's punishment.
Oh,
It's
sure.
there for a
Oh,
reason.
oh, sure. Make no make no mistake. Yeah. But I think that maybe we need to see it. We need to see, how do I word this? It's like look at the assassination of Kennedy. Let's call it a coup. Let's call it an internal coup. I believe it is. I know I can't prove it. Let's just for the sake of it, let's call it a coup. It's so different than the traditional historical archetypal romantic, if you will, type of coup. It's not the it's not the it's not getting, was it Caesar getting stabbed by all the other senators? It's not the, you know, it's not the king's son killing him. It's not, some biblical story. It's weird. It's modern day. It was in a White House with cars with tires made out of rubber. And you don't think of like a coup like that. Or let's say 2020, if you believe 2020 election was a coup. I personally do. It wasn't it wasn't a Russian revolution where they roll into the castle, they roll into Moscow, and they take, who is it, the Romanovs, and they execute them all in the basement, and raise the flag, and we've done it. No, sometimes it's like a weird thing where all the counting stops in the middle of the night and you get shadow banned. All these things just seem to be cycles reiterating. So I think at the very least, what I hope for is for people to just stop getting them. Just stop getting the shots. Because whether you died from myocarditis or whether you get hit by a truck, your family is mourning you, and that is real pain. So number one, just stop. I don't give a shit who gets credit for it being stopped. I don't care. I would love the 104 million, but I don't care. if I wanted just money, I would have stopped talking about this shit a long time ago, and I'd still be on YouTube. Um, but I think we need to see that it can still happen today, right? It's like when it turns out the serial killer lived in the neighborhood next door, or when the molester was an uncle. Sometimes there needs to be a harsh reminder that they're not these distant things, that war
Yes.
and killing and genocide doesn't just happen in the Middle East where men with robes have swords and they're evil. It's like, no, man, sometimes it happens by a glossy company called Pfizer. And
Yeah.
it's like, but it's not what we always think. Sometimes genocide is getting in train cars, separating you and putting you into a shower. And then after the Zyklon B, they actually would go in there with hammers and knock out the gold teeth before they would burn the bodies. Sometimes it's you just walk in a Walgreens and get your booster from a nice lady with rubber gloves on. So where I'm kind of meandering is I have a lot of hopes and desires for how this is played out and how justice is dealt out. But before any of it, like before the World Trade Centers have collapsed and we go and fucking kill Bin Laden, just stop the jumpers, stop the fire. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. And
I
I'm
agree.
not,
And thankfully, most of them stop. I mean, how many took the boosters this last go? Like, that's one of the biggest things.
I think it's
Whenever
down to
the
like 2% uptake.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, the shills that are still shilling for this product that are attacking me and everyone else, all the other whistleblowers like me, they're coming at us, and
They're
all you have to do is be
interesting.
like, "Did you take your booster?"
They're interesting. The shills, because
Oh,
part of me is like, are you getting paid? If you are, you're a demon from hell. But at least I get it. You're getting money, right? Everyone does shit for money. I get it.
hmm.
If you actually still believe this, I mean, it's sad. Like you're just retarded. Like there's
Oh,
that.
look at. Oh, yeah.
No, go on.
Sorry. I look at it as like a big set, like the internet itself. I look at it as like human consciousness, human mind. Like, let's
Yeah,
take the entire internet, and I look at it like the brain of a human. Like, we're all one big body. And I see the shills and the bots for the shills, but the shills themselves, the human ones, and I look at them as like, say our entire body was just abused by an abuser. Like, we were all just beaten, and it's Munchausen meets Stockholm syndrome.
mm.
We've been poisoned, we've been beaten, we've been told that we deserve it.
Gaslit. Yeah, told
Yes,
we
oh
deserve it,
yes,
and then told that didn't even happen.
exactly. So I'm seeing the shills as the portion of the human mind that will attack the messenger of truth. Because there's people in this system that will just say the most absurd things and fight for their abuser, just like an abused person does
Mhm.
whenever I go on scene. If someone's been beaten by their spouse, they'll
No,
constantly
don't
take
call the
up for their
cops. Don't call
spouse.
the cops. It just happened to once. It's like, ma'am, you have two black eyes. Like,
Yeah, your
it's
face is
sad.
the size
It's
of a
sad.
basketball. This is gonna he's gonna kill you. I've had that. He's
It's
gonna
very
kill
sad.
you. Oh, it's terrible, bro. I've literally had them try to blame it on bee stings. I've had them try to blame it on falling. I've had them, and then if you push the issue, if you push it, which I learned early on, you got to be very careful, because if you just go, hey, they're gonna kill you, this is bad, you need to press charges and you need to come with me to the hospital because you could die from your wounds. They will get mad at you. They will
Yeah.
go off on you, and that's what we have. We have that. I mean,
Yeah. You do have shills on Twitter. Um, I'm kind of at like my Reddit point with Twitter where every once in a while I'll just make an account just to throw a couple comments and then I'll get banned within like an hour or so. So I've just got accounts that I just have ghost accounts littering Twitter just to get out there. Um, but yeah, one of them I think I've seen you argue with. I'm not sure is Ian Copeland, and that's a
oh
guy
yeah,
that I think he's getting money because I've dealt with other shills that will go on Twitter Spaces. They'll accept invites to shit and they'll just parrot the party line, safe and effective. I got COVID. Imagine how much worse it would be if I wasn't vaccinated. Get your booster. I've seen them. The Ian
yeah.
Copeland guy, that guy, he puts out his business email. And I found it, and I'm someone that like I'm willing to hear also. I have two very simple rules on this podcast. One is no pedophilia. You can't. The only times we talk about pedophilia is when I interview the former special forces guys that take justice into their own hands. And the second one is no inciting violence. It is my, it is my platform. It is, whether I like it or not, there are actual laws about inciting violence. Like, so that's why even with you earlier, I do with everyone. I'm always like, technically, Tommy's podcast does not condone that. Um, but aside from that, man, I'll listen to anyone so long as they're respectful. And you know, I had on a guy right after the October 7th attacks, and I was like, you know what? I've had on all these people talking about how the IDF needs to go into Gaza. I've had on former special forces guys that have worked with the IDF. I've interviewed IDF people, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, go give them fucking nature's punishment. But then I was like, you know what? Am I worth my salt? Am I willing to have on someone that doesn't support it? And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's try it. And I had him on. I had on Dr. Kevin Barrett, and he went on and on and on about, kind of how the Jews are responsible for everything. And I don't agree with that. But I was like, if I can't sit here and at least listen to an idea that I disagree with, even at the end of it, I said I disagree with it. But, we emailed after, and he's like, I respect you for having me on and letting me say that. And I was like, yeah, technically, I was one of the more uncomfortable episodes I did, where it's this guy screaming about the Jews, and I'm like, oh boy. But I'll have anyone on, man. I'll have anyone on. And I can tell you right now, I've never had someone come on that wants to push the shots. I've extended invites. I tell them just like it's us. I say it's not live. You can record it too. You can have a copy of the file. You can, do no gotcha questions. I don't do gotcha questions. Maybe you don't want it live. Maybe you want it pre-recorded. That's a-okay too. No one will come on to debate any of the doctors. And that's fine. You don't have to. You owe me nothing. But what gets me about a guy like Ian Copeland is he has his business email. And I've had so many people tell me to offer an invite to just come on and debate any of the doctors, which, by the way, I can just text. I have their numbers. It's very simple.
Won't do it, brother. I mean, it
He
won't happen.
he won't, but I've seen other people with accounts just he's just still spamming him like every day. He'll just go on and look at it, and he'll tweet something, and just like the top comment will be like, "Answer your emails," and like he won't even answer them, man. And to me, I'm like, that's someone that there's a level of awareness there, because if they truly believed it, they'd take the invite. That guy's getting paid, and to me,
Maybe
I'm like,
so. I know he
yeah,
wouldn't. He had me on. He had another guy ask me to go on to the show or their live, like they were going to talk, and it turned out to be which I knew that they were people that just wanted to, belittle me or anyone that's against the shots. I mean, that was pretty obvious. But whenever I went on where I had I mean, I can take the belittling comments. I can take you bashing me where I couldn't stay any longer and even try is whenever they demeaned the dead. Whenever they literally talk, I was trying to talk about a patient that I've experienced die from the shot, and they were just so crude and crass, and the cruelness of it. And I can't do that. I won't do that. I won't sit there, and you can beat on me all you want to, bash on me, tell me I'm the worst, whatever, but don't talk about the patients that I've lost in a negative way. That's a line that I don't need to sit there for. That's to me, it's just, and it just makes me sad. I mean, it's because I'm already witnessing either that Ian guy is somebody who truly believes in the shots, or he's paid. Well, when you start being cruel about the dead, about those who have died, that's a
that's
level
a different
of
level where it doesn't matter if you're paid or if you're a true believer.
I,
That's yeah.
yeah, I'm done with you. Like
It's same thing.
that's rude.
I can't I'll have friends that'll be like, you know what, go get the booster. I hope you fucking die. And I'm like, that's no, I'm not doing that. That's
No,
just as bad. The real
yeah,
punishment should be Fauci should get a boot. No, Fauci should have a fair trial. Like the Mossad. Did they just go ice fucking Adolf Eichmann? No. They spent like $1 billion and planned it out and extradited him to Israel to do that, to do have his trial, where they put him in a bulletproof glass box with two soldiers on the inside and two soldiers on the outside, and all those soldiers had their lineages checked to make sure that none of their immediate family were killed in the Holocaust, so that there wasn't an extrajudicial killing. I don't, you know better than it, and it's I don't want anyone to die. This is how, because if we sit here and start saying, get your booster, I hope you fucking die. Well, now you have someone who that's just the first thing they saw and they go, oh, these guys are assholes too. Of course they want my grandma to die. And now you start
Oh
looking
yeah,
at something like the Middle East where it's like, well, we're getting them back for what they did to my grandpa. And it's like, well, my grandpa's grandpa. And it's like back to the invention of like cuneiform and the stone wheel. It will never end. So when you see the cruel, you know, uh enjoy your funeral,
yeah. It's Jack.
that's that's when you start to see it really does come back to I always forget what's the Bible verse, like for our battle is not against like enemies
Flesh
of
and
the
blood.
flesh but principality. That's when you start seeing it and you go, oh, that's dark. You read about, young guys my age, fuck the drafted by the Wehrmacht and you got to go fight for the Nazis and they're like, I don't fucking, if they don't, they'll kill my mom. And then you see guys like Adolf Eichmann, who I think his quote while living abroad after the war before he was captured was, somebody had mentioned, I think he's in Argentina, the Argentinian government had talked about making concentration camps for their Jews, and I think his exact quote was, at the thought of killing, I lick my lips and my eyes flare. And then you go, that's not a guy following orders.
Yeah,
That's a fucking demon. So I know
right.
I'm kind of rambling, but I'm with you.
No,
When it when
I
it
understand.
when it gets down to you know, fucking dead, should have got your vax. It's like, what are we doing here, man?
Oh, it's bad.
Isn't your whole argument we're in it together, and even if it saves one life, and for my grandma, and do your part? Isn't isn't that what we're doing here? Versus, you fucking died.
Yeah, I asked a person, and one of them was going after me the other day, yesterday or day before, just coming at me, coming at me, coming at me like they always do. And inevitably, I've just, do you want to DM me? Do you want to talk to me? Do you? Because this seemed like a if you seem like a person, I want to talk to you. Like if you're a bot, I don't really, I'll figure out real quick that you're saying all the bot. Either you're a bot human or you're a bot. But if you're saying all the bot stuff, I don't have much time. But this person was wanting to actually communicate like a human. So I was down to DM, down to talk. They of course didn't DM me, but they inevitably in the conversation they were like, "It saved millions of lives. There hasn't been any, widespread death, from the shots." And I'm like, "Well, what do you consider widespread?" Like, I have multiple friends that lost their children. Is that widespread enough for you? Like, I mean, what is your mark on what is acceptable for a mandated product? Like, if they're going to mandate a product or deem you have to take something that could kill you and your children, what is widespread enough? Is one kid, two kids, 100 kids? Like, where's our mark to mandate that product? Now, I can see giving people the option and saying, hey, this could kill you and your family, or it could save you from COVID. Go out and have at it if you want to. You wouldn't have had me on your show. This would have never occurred if they wouldn't have pushed it like you have to take something or else. Since they did that and they didn't offer the actual consent, that's where I drew the line, and that's where you have people like me who are willing to blow the whistle. They I smoke cigarettes. I know they kill people, but I'm not mandated to smoke cigarettes. And if you try to mandate my children to smoke cigarettes, we're going to have the same war go on. We're going to have the same battle. We're going to have the same bad things. They're constantly trying to kill us. We understand that. It's whenever you tell us we have to take that killing product, that deadly product, when real people should stand up and go, no, I mean, we should stand up a long time ago and stop the poison in general. But if we're not going to do that, at least we have to stand up for the point saying you're not allowed to experiment on me. You're not allowed to mandate experiments. And
Mm.
anyone who'll laugh at the death and play off the death of what's occurring, they go ahead and I put them in the Nazi category. They're like Nazis. Now, what do we have to do to them? We have to try them. We have to put them on trial eventually, and we have to make examples of them for the rest of the world. That has to happen. The punishment has to happen, or it's gonna be worse. I mean, the next go around, this disease X or whatever else they want to push next. We've already seen the rules they put in place. We've already seen the FDA recently come out and say, if we believe it's minimal risk, we don't really have to give you consent. The fact that they have the balls to put that on paper and say if we believe something's minimal risk, shut up, sit down, take your shot. That's crazy, bro. Like we're living in crazy world. This is getting way too far beyond. And if we don't stand up to it, uh, we're already having massive death, but we're going to have death on a scale that I don't think anyone can comprehend.
I would point towards the book, and we got to wrap this up in a second, but I would point towards the book, The Bohemians by Norman Ohler. He's got another great book called Blitzed, probably top three favorite books of all time about the Nazis and drugs. Just insane. I've listened to it so many times. It's such a good book. But he's got another book called The Bohemians, and it's about just this small, just like a sect of a sect of a sect of the resistance in Germany. And the guy's name was it's like comically Jewish. His name was Haho Schützeboysen. It sounds like a made up name. Like, what's your that'd be like if that's like me trying to sneak into a synagogue and be like, what's your name? And I'm like, Shlomo Ben Goldsteinberg. Haho Schützeboysen, really? But he and his wife and some friends, Haho actually joined the Luftwaffe and rose through the ranks so that he would be in charge of interrogations in his section of Germany. And he would go when he was interrogating a prisoner, he would go get right in their face and talk to him. And you'd offer him a cigarette, and it would say like written in like Hebrew. It'd be like I'm gonna help you or something. And he had he had an illicit radio that he like a shortwave band radio, and his efforts seemed to be almost nothing. He saved a couple lives, and towards the end, it actually did help. It did help with I forget where. I think it helps with the Allied invasion of Italy. It's somehow linked that like his shortwave radio helped provide intel that led to like the U.S. campaign in Italy, and he played a role. It's not like it's not some like Reddit story, and then he killed Hitler with his own hands. No, what happened was is he, his girlfriend, and his friends were all rounded up and hung. But sacrifice is not immediately transactional. And they were hung like 2 years before the war ended. So it wasn't even like the tide's turning. They were hung as like the Nazis started launching like rockets. It's like, dude, what are we even doing? It's like a tidal wave is coming, and you've got a towel, and you're like, I hope this helps. But they did it because he couldn't stand any other existence. He couldn't stand even the thought of being complicit. He was a brilliant dude by all reports. He was fucking handsome ass Chad. His girlfriend was like trust fund baby. Hey man, if he had he just shut the fuck up and gone along, he was a pilot too. If he had just shut the fuck up and gone along, one, he would have had it made in the shade, and two, he was educated enough that after the war, he should go defect. We were taking all the scientists. He could have done all of that and then spun a yarn and been like, I never liked what I was doing. No, homie he just went for the jugular. And that's just the story we know about. We don't know how many other Aho shoots of poisons there are. But that's a guy that, it's 2024. It's been over 80 years since he was hung. Who do we remember? Do you remember that guy? We got that guy's a Chad. His balls must have been made of tungsten. Or do we look at Hitler? We go, no, Hitler, that faggot, he shot himself in a bunker. What about Goebbels? Oh, Goebbels and his wife, yeah, no, they gave their 5 children a cyanide while they slept. Okay. Now, is that comforting? Not really, because it means that you don't get the 104 million. But you have to get to a point where you just plant your feet and you decide this is what I'm doing. But for right now,
Agreed.
Harry, we got to wrap this one up. Next guest is coming in.
Cool.
Yeah, dude. As I was start your show, guys. If you want Harry to start a podcast, peer pressure him, bully him, go into the comments and tell him to start a show, and I'm gonna help him out because it's pretty easy, man. As you just saw, dude, it's just this. You already know what to do. You're already good enough. You already have the same mindset to do it. So just that's 90% of it. Is you
I'd
don't
end
give
up
a shit.
doing that. I
Yeah.
I like talking to you. I appreciate you having me on. Hit me up later whenever you're done, and we'll shoot the shit. Thank you very
Fuck
much.
yeah. Fuck yeah. Dude, and follow like I told you, follow up with me. You want to start a podcast, follow up with me. I'm not gonna do it for you. Not that's not a stab at you, but I tell people that all the time. They're like, I'd love to. And I'm like, where's your first episode? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well then you don't want to do it. But Harry, thank you, sir. And as you just saw, You can sit in your car with a beanie. I can sit in my bedroom with a beanie, and it doesn't matter. We can still talk smack. So, guys, do the right thing. Find God. Do the right
Amen.
thing. And whether you win or you lose, you're gonna die anyway, man. That's the other thing. It's not like you get out of this thing. We're all dead anyway, man. Be a legend. You have your great grandkids look at you and be like, man, I don't know how grandpa walked around so well with balls that were denser than a neutron star. Be that motherfucker. Be the person you look at. When I look at black and white photos of like my great uncle Rich, my grandfather's brother, was 18 on Omaha Beach, and I look at that and I'm like, what a fucking Chad. Be
I
that.
agree. Be a Boise Goldstein
Be a
something Smith.
Yeah, be a Haho shoots up or wherever the fuck you are. Be a Abdullah bin Salamane. What do whatever. Do the right thing.
Agreed.
All right,
Later,
brother.
brother.
Harry, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Where the fuck did my thing? Here we go. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Where's my mouse?